Oh, shoot. I've already messed up the stream already. Oh, hold on. Just give me a second, guys. This is my first time doing this. Here we go. All right. We should be good now. What's up, Toxic? I'm going to give it a couple minutes for a couple more people to get here. And what we'll do to start off is watch the video together, and I'll give some like commentary or whatever. Chat rate 2. What did you think of the video, Toxic? All right, he's not he's not responding. Okay. Well, I don't know if anyone else is going to be joining, so I guess I'll just get started because I think this is a recording and it's going to go on my channel, so I don't want it to be too boring. Toxic, if you're still watching, let me know if the video is too loud or whatever.
Let's go.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you liked it.
All right. I just climbed from down there to the first part of the water tower.
That section of the water tower is
Just the beginning.
filthy. It's just absolutely filthy. There's all kinds of dirt. There's like dead birds and stuff in that part of the water tower, I guess from where it was being built.
Very base of the bulb. That is the entrance to the bulb. And this is little valve. I am now in the bulb.
That bulb, you can't hear shit? Okay, let me turn it up. What about now?
I am on top. I am on top of Dina. Holy fuck. Holy shit.
All right, I'm going to pause it real quick and go back.
I am now in the bulb.
What about now, man? Anyways, I'm just going to...
Bulb.
That bulb is just the most incredible place. Like there's so much reverb. Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, just let me know if it's too much. But that bulb is the most incredible place. There's so much reverb in there. Anything you do. I had some chapstick with me that day. And I took out the chapstick, and the sound I made when I took the cap off, you know, that reverberated forever. Really incredible place. I got some shots down in there, too, with the lid open. But obviously those aren't in here. One thing I do want to note real quick is this sound. That sound is there to sort of like imply me coming up out of the top. But obviously I did not get that sound because I was too busy climbing. The actual sound is way more terrifying because the lid is extremely heavy, and when it falls down onto the top, it sounds like thunder. But I have to thank my friend Farah for that, because he was, we were in Discord together looking at this in the editing room, and previously there was a shot with the the little valve cover, the little door at the base of the bulb, and I had gotten a shot of me opening that up, and he suggested using that sound as a replacement for the sound I didn't get for the door opening, which I didn't even think about. So shout out to Farah for that.
I am on top. I am on top of Dina.
Rocking that Slayer mask.
Holy fuck. Holy shit.
The mind field entered my life at the perfect time. Or, I guess it would be more accurate to say it re-entered my life. I spent most of my childhood growing up in the small town of Brownsville, Tennessee. I would see the mind field every time I rode with my parents down Main Street. I did not understand what it was or who made it, and I never paid it much attention. Despite its enigmatic nature, I was too young to engage with it. Count how many shots switch between having clouds and not having clouds. Away from Brownsville, and I stopped reminiscing about my old home. My memory of the sculpture faded. Years later, I tried to keep it consistent, 20s, I would find it's myself difficult. Back in my old hometown. You can't control the weather. And there, I rediscovered the minefield. I sat and stared at it, analyzing its various parts, attempting to decipher its symbols, trying to read the banners of text that pivoted in the wind 100 feet in the air. And I became enamored with it. As a kid, I may not have thought much of it, but now, I've recognized it as one of the greatest and most complex works of art that I have ever seen. It was a shining example is a really old boat that right in the middle of a town where you Billy Tripp and Anthony Turner used to. It was part of their childhood in some way. From what I understand, at least that's what Anthony told me. I always felt out of place. Anthony Turner, you see him in the video. A little clip of our interview, like a Gothic cathedral in a town full of wooden churches. It was like I gotta pause it because I can't hear myself over this. But Anthony Turner told me about that boat that him and Billy grew up together, and that boat was apparently part of their childhood. So yeah, that's in the minefield. That's how everything is in the minefield, though. It's everything's got a story. It was out of place. It reflected the way I felt my entire What's up, life, Xavier? And it was calling me to uncover its secrets. I had to know everything. Just giving some commentary. We're going to be doing some other stuff too, but I just wanted to start it off with this. Or recognizing it as a national. If you haven't watched the video yet, as usual, I'm assuming you've watched the video. If you're watching this, if you haven't watched it yet, though, go watch that before you watch this. I learned that the man who built the minefield was named Billy Tripp. Shout out to the photographer Fred Scruton, and that many of its components who has allowed me to use his pictures in my documentary. But I needed to know more. Thanks, Rachel. And the fact that answers were not easy to find only made me more interested in finding those signs right there, those are references to the first book in the Minefield years. My search eventually led me to the Sycamore Trees, which is probably the most difficult to read, but also the most insightful. Drone videos about the Minefield since 2016.
How many feet up was that you just climbed?
Probably about 120, maybe.
Through his channel, I learned that not only did Tripp build the Minefield, he also wrote an entire series of Minefield books mean a lot to Billy. They really do. And I will say, I'll pause it to say this. That was one of the reasons that I was allowed to do this is when I met him, I told him, hey, I've bought some of your books and I'm reading them. And that really kind of, made him pause because no one reads his books, which is shocking to me. You'd think, how many people drive by the Minefield or, there are tourists every weekend that I'm down there that go by and see the place. Nobody reads his books. And a lot of people who try to read his books, only get so far into it and just kind of stop. Or there's a lot of people who know Mr. Tripp and they, read his books. I guess out of mutual interest of him being their friend, and they don't have too much to say about them, and so it really meant a lot to him that I was reading his books, which, of course I would, because if I was going to do this seriously, I wasn't just going to make this, and be like, oh, he's got 7 books out. I haven't read any of them, but they're out. I wasn't going to do that. So I definitely wanted to do my homework and read all of his books. I'm so glad I did, because they're really essential companion pieces. If you want to get a big picture of why the mind field exists and what the different parts of it mean, you have to read his books. At some point, I would like to do a video breakdown of his first book, The Sycamore Trees. It's a stream of consciousness autobiographical novel. It's fictionalized, so it's not your typical autobiography, which is when I was a kid, I did it. It's to say it's creative would be an understatement. It is incredible. I'm actually just going to talk about it for a little bit. So the book came out in 1996. He wrote it concurrently when he was first building the mind field. He started it a little bit prior to that, but he finished it up as he started building the mind field. It's really incredible how there are certain story elements about it that are very indicative of the 90s, but they're there in spite of those trends in the 90s, not because of them. The book is very meta, which was a big thing in the 90s, Scream and movies like that, really big in the 90s. That dude, Mr. Tripp, did not follow pop culture at all in the 90s. I asked him about this a couple weeks ago. He doesn't even know what the word meta means. And yet his book is incredibly meta. It is also tells its story in a very non-chronological way. Again, big trend of the 90s, movies like Pulp Fiction, really started that trend. He was, pretty foreign to that concept. And this was just kind of stuff that he thought up to himself and how he wanted to tell his life story in the book. So I just think it's really incredible. The Sycamore Trees, I think, is a super incredible and rewarding book if you're willing to put in the work to read it. It is a difficult read. It is a dense book, but I feel like if you have a guide to sort of help you along and understand some really basic concepts in it, it becomes infinitely more readable. And so at some point, I would like to do a video sort of, the first part of it would be explaining the basic concepts of the book to help you read it. And then the second half would be for everyone who has read the book, just straight up explaining the entire story in case you need that. But yeah, just thought I would go off on that little tangent. Shout out to Ken Herron. Ken Herron's been super nice.
So I bought 2 of Tripp's
he's let
books
me
on
use
Amazon
all of his
and
YouTube
RSVP for the meetup
videos
with
and
plans to travel
my
back to my
documentary or
hometown
whatever
of
I need.
Brownsville and meet Billy Tripp.
So he's a super nice
I had
guy.
a burning desire to make something about his work.
He's
I
pretty
didn't
good
know
friends
for
with
sure
Billy
what
Tripp,
form it would
as
take
I'm
in
sure
the
you
end,
surmised
but
from
I
this
knew
video.
I had to do
That's
something.
how I met Billy.
People needed to know about this sculpture. And
I just showed up to his drone meetup and he was like,
So
oh,
there I
he
was
probably
at
asked me
Ken
something
Herron's
about
drone
drones. And I was
meetup,
like, no,
feeling
yeah, I'm
nervous,
actually here.
unsure,
I'm not
and
actually
scared.
here for you. I'm not
Over the
actually here
past
for you. I'm
year,
here
I
to
had
meet
grown to
Billy Tripp.
idolize the
So
man who built the
super
Mind
nice
Field.
guy. I
I
appreciate,
looked
if
up
it wasn't
to
for him, I
He
wouldn't
was
have
my
met
hero.
Mr. Tripp.
And I had never met
So
anyone
really
who
appreciate
I
him
admired
and,
this
just
much,
appreciate
much less
how
meet
nice
them
he's
with the
been.
explicit purpose of proposing a documentary about them, a type of project which I've never
Shout out
even
to Ken
made in the
Herron.
first
Go watch
place.
all of his videos.
But before the end of the
all
day,
his Mindfield
I found
videos are
myself
really
standing
good.
face to face with him. At first, he seemed unsure and even uninterested in the prospect. But I kept talking to him, and he eventually understood my purpose in making a documentary. He gave me his phone number and said he'd consider it. That answer
I'm not sure
was all I needed.
exactly what I said to make him keep talking to me, because my memory of the conversation was I kind of just cut straight to the chase and told him what I wanted to do, and he was like, well, my email is, when he gave me his email, And he's like, whatever. Yeah, we can talk about it. And I don't like, because he was, turning away from me. He was ready to just sort of like go on with his day. I don't know what I said to him that made him stop and, for us to continue talking. But, we ended up talking for like half an hour, and then that half hour, we talked about his books, and, we talked about my intentions for the movie, and he talked about what he thought it would take to make a good movie on the Minefield if somebody was going to make a movie on it. And, I agreed with all that. And, the ideas he was throwing out is stuff that I, wanted to be in the movie already. And so, by the end of that conversation, he was like, okay, well, he was more warm up to the concept of it, but obviously he didn't know me very well. It helped that I was from Brownsville originally, and that really helped his sort of trust of me, that I wasn't an outsider doing it, that my family was from Brownsville and that I had roots there. Really helped him, sort of get on board with the idea of the project. So anyways, that's sort of how that first meeting went, and I was so scared that day, but it's all turned out really good. And me and Mr. Tripp are, I love hanging out with him, man. And I would like to say he probably feels the same way. I think he enjoys hanging out with me. But yeah, well, let's continue.
Over the next few months, I read and took notes on all 7 of his books. Meanwhile, he spent the winter writing an 8th, which I am now reading as I write this script. Beginning in December and through February, I conducted interviews, talking to people who know Billy Tripp.
Shout out
His
to Bill
friends,
Hall. Bill
his family,
Hall
as well as
is the man who sold Billy Tripp the water tower that I climbed at the beginning of the video. That water tower is from Arlington, Kentucky. It's from a defunct factory called Dina Lamps, I believe. And when that factory was sort of shut down, he was the owner of that property. And he was the one who sold Billy Tripp that water tower. So shout out to him. Really nice guy.
experts.
That's
in
Dr.
outside
Beth
and
Tripp.
folk
That's
art.
his wife. That's
Now,
Bradley
I
Hansen.
spend every weekend
Super
with
nice
Mr.
guy,
Tripp
Bradley
as I film
Hansen. I got in contact with him after a while of trying to contact somebody from the Tennessee Arts Commission. And he was just super nice. And coincidentally, I thought this was really awesome. He was actually making a documentary as well. He's in the later phases. He's nearing the end of editing, and he's dealing with sort of like legal stuff. But I thought that was really awesome and coincidental that he was actually working on a documentary himself. So he was really eager to be involved, and we had a great interview, great conversation afterwards. So shout out to Bradley Hansen.
His working process towards erecting the next massive piece of the Minefield.
Around the middle of it, it has it looks like a walkway. It's probably a brace to help keep it round.
Uh-huh.
And that's what those pieces are.
Yeah.
Every day, I'm
really
thankful for the
excited
opportunity to
to
spend
see what he's like, to see the finished product of what he's working on. He showed me a picture of what it's looked like before, because everything in the Minefield is repurposed steel. It was one thing, and Billy turns it into something else. And so I've seen what he's working on now. I've seen what it looked like before he took it down and where it was originally, what it was. But he's told me the plans he has for it, and I'm super excited to see it. It's going to be huge. You just saw that piece of metal he was, guiding, hanging from the crane. That's just one piece of it. There's like 14 of those, and they're going to go around in a circle. So it's going to be super huge, and it's going to be, it's going to be beautiful on the inside and the outside once he's done with it. And I'm really excited to see the finished product. Before I continue, these 3 wooden heads are his sculptures. He has done some wooden sculptures as well, and this is a couple of them. He's kind of dabbled in everything, man. And so he sort of took all those from the same stump and carved different heads. They mean different things. You know, one of them doesn't have a nose. One of them doesn't have any senses at all. So yeah.
Time with someone who I consider to be one of the most talented artists
Also,
currently.
He's done paintings as well. You can sort of see in the background, and then right under the table of where those heads are at, you can see some of his paintings in the background. But he's done paintings as well. In fact, Brownsville has a museum, a local museum. If you go to that museum, there's a couple of his paintings in there as well. So yeah.
Living.
To indicate that there's more than just a knock at the door, or what you get at the door to a house. If there's a whole life being lived inside that house.
Undertaking this journey has been the greatest and most rewarding experience of my life. It's been intimidating and a massive challenge, but there's nothing else I'd rather do. When the mind field found its way back into my life, I felt very unfulfilled.
Shots
I
of
was
me looking
for
like a
more out
dork.
of life. More meaning, more belonging, more opportunities, more challenges, and more purpose. And I found all of them in the work of Billy Tripp.
Working that steel, man. Working the steel.
If you hang with me long enough, you'll see me really fuck something up, and you'll get a chance to hear me say, "Billy, damn it."
There have been many
Billy damn it is
coincidences.
something he says. Like, it's like a little catchphrase he uses in some of his books, particularly his notebooks. It's his way of saying God damn it, because he's an atheist, and so it's sort of like a little joke. So he says Billy damn it instead. It's funny.
Since I started down this path. And one of them was that meeting Billy Tripp was not the only leap of faith I took that weekend. The next day, I jumped out of an airplane. A lot of people asked me if I was scared.
You
and my
see,
answer
what
was
I don't
always
tell
no.
you
There
is
was no
that
100%
originally
guarantee that
I
I
didn't
would
have a
survive the
parachute
jump
tied to me, and
unscathed,
some
but I
maniac
wanted
just
to do it.
harnessed
I
himself
had
to me
decided to do
mid-flight
it, and I wouldn't feel
with the
my life
parachute
was
on,
complete
and
without trying.
that's the only way I survived for that
Besides,
jump, because I was
had already
you
taken
know,
the scariest
I was
jump
just
of
going
my
to let
life the
fate decide.
previous day, and that had meant more to me than any death-defying stunt that may cause me physical harm.
Yeah, I did
Just
the thumbs
like
up and I
jumping off
fist
that
bumped the guy,
plane,
but I'm
I
telling you
didn't
one
know for
thing:
sure
I
what
was
the
scared out of
outcome
my
would be
pants
when I undertook the making
when I
of
was
this film.
falling.
But it was a risk I was.
I
and
wasn't
am willing
scared
to
until I
take
got right to
because
the
it's
edge of the
something
plane, and then
wanted
I
to
like
do.
reality hit me, and I
Something
was
I
like, "Oh
needed to
my
do.
god!"
And I felt my life wouldn't be complete without trying to
Let's
do
go
it.
back real quick. Let's go.
Needed to do. And I felt my life wouldn't be complete.
Shoot.
Wanted to do. Something I needed to do.
Oh,
And I
hold on.
felt
Hold, oh, oh. Notes. There's another reference to the sycamore tree. The little thing that says notes, Minefield Amber Joe. It's another reference to his book, The Sycamore Trees. Just thought I would point that out.
My life wouldn't be complete without trying to do it. The path I chose to walk has been difficult and taxing, but it's also been amazing. And part of walking it has been accepting the setbacks and obstacles of life, learning to work around them, and accepting imperfection as a beautiful part of what makes journeys worth taking and life worth living.
I want you
No,
guys to
I
guess what that is about. I just want you to guess what that is about. That has been my experience. I want you to guess and see if you can guess correctly what that's
Part of
about.
what makes journeys
He
worth
told me-
taking
he told me
and
what that's
life
about.
worth living. No, I didn't know what was going to happen once I jumped off that plane, and I don't know what will happen now that I've started plummeting towards the existence of my film. But for the first time in my life, I am okay with that uncertainty.
Dramatic piano. All right, and that's the video coming when it's finished. I almost put coming when it's ready. Which religion? What about religion? But I didn't want to remind people too much of
Not
Cyberpunk
sure how I'm gonna get down from here
because you know
but,
that didn't turn out so well.
I'll make
Religion,
it, I
cross. There are religious elements to his work. That is correct. But Billy Tripp is actually an atheist. He is just very inspired by religious imagery. A lot of his paintings look like stained glass windows. That's very intentional. There's a cross in the minefield, with his last name on it. from the front and intentionally looks like a cathedral. So that's all. Yeah, yeah. Like that's all, tied into, religion, and there's religious influence there because he grew up in a religious community. His family was religious, but he himself is an atheist. He used to have a lot of signs out to the side of the minefield. Most of them are not up anymore because they started to deteriorate, and he didn't want them to totally weather, so he took them down and brought them inside of his shop. One of them was pro-LGBT rights, and he put that back up in the 2000s, so, before gay marriage was legalized and all that. One of them was a sign that said, dog bless what? God backwards, dog bless what? And so, there's definitely a religious aspect to his work. His religious upbringing has influenced his work, but he also pokes fun at it as well, which also comes up in the fact that, and this is not in the video, but his truck on the tailgate, it used to say, "Satan saves, be self-righteous" on it. It doesn't say that anymore. The Satan part's been painted over. Yeah, so yeah, he's not religious at all. But he does let that religious iconography from his childhood influence his work. So anyways, yeah, that's the video. I really appreciate the positive, warm response it's gotten. Unfortunately, it's not doing too well view-wise, but that's okay. I kind of expected it to, because YouTube is just not the place for original content. If you're not making videos about some sort of trend or like a movie or, something that's going to pop off, it's just not going to do well view-wise. And I knew that because a lot of my views in the past couple of videos have come from search results, actually. Wait, what? Redude, have you not watched the video? You need to get off this stream and go watch the announcement video that I made. Go watch that and come back. Then you can watch the stream and you'll be caught up to speed. Redu just woke up from a coma, I guess. Is he expressing that the artwork represents his experience of life? Okay, you're guessing about the you're guessing about the has been my experience. That's not it at all. That's a good guess, though. That's a good guess. That's a great guess. But that's not it at all. I don't know if I want to... I'll tell you. So, has been my experience is like a really cryptic way of him paying homage to when he lost his virginity. So, yeah. I just didn't know if anybody would guess that. But yeah, he told me that. I thought it was funny. I'm finally free off work. I'm about to watch it now, but there's a face cam. There's a face. Yeah, I guess that's the first time Redude's seen me. I don't know if that's true, though. I've posted pictures of my skydiving debacle in Discord back when that happened. But anyways, to move on, I wanted to show you guys some other cool stuff as well. So I said in the video that information online about Billy Tripp is very hard to come by, and it is, but it does exist. It is just difficult to find. If you look up the Minefield or Billy Tripp, it's, it doesn't jump out at you. It might be on the second or third page of Google, or you might have to jump through hoops to get it. One of those things is a Wikipedia page someone made for Billy Tripp. It was not a good Wikipedia page. There was barely anything on it. Let me pull up a picture I had of it. Give me really, really quick, and I'll add it to the stream. I initially thought of sex, but I thought religion was more plausible. Okay, let's see. Window capture. Okay. All right. Okay. We need to. There we go. All right. Here we go. So this is what Billy Tripp's Wikipedia page originally looked like. This was it. That's all. It just had that sentence at the beginning, a little bit of his biography and works, which was just not very well written at all. It did have these pictures, which I'm very surprised that they had any of those pictures at all. Especially that third one that you can't see. We'll look at it in more detail later. But that third one is Billy has shown me that. He took it himself. So I don't know whoever set this up. I don't know how they got that picture. And then it had this warning up there because this article had no citations. Like, it's been up for I don't know how long, and I'm very surprised Wikipedia allowed it to stay up because there weren't any citations. I think there was one citation, and that was it. I'm really surprised that this was allowed to stay up at all because there was no substance to the article and it didn't have any citations. So now here is the revamped Billy Tripp Wikipedia article. I totally rewrote it. I put in tons of references to websites and resources for information about the mind field. And all of this is, really basic information that somebody might want to know about the mind field and Billy Tripp. I wanted to list out all of his books that are currently published. And then, you got all the references down here. So if you're looking for more information about Billy Tripp and the mind field, this is a great place to start. Read over this. And if you're interested in more, there's some great resources in here, especially Fred Scruton's website. Fred Scruton has been photographing the mind field since the late 2000s and has been photographing outsider art since like the 80s. So he's super knowledgeable about the mind field, and he has a huge profile on Billy Tripp and the mind field that has a lot of great information in it. And again, that's not something that pops up on like the first or second page of Google. Like you gotta search for that really hard to find it, unless you're looking for Fred Scruton, his website specifically, and then stumble upon his Billy Tripp page. You're not likely to find that information. So I wanted to put a whole bunch of pages like that in here to help people find information about the mind field. And anyways, that is that. I also wanted to tell you guys about something else cool. When I first met Billy Tripp, when Ken Heron introduced me, and we were talking about, me making this, he asked me, well, have you seen that other movie that was made about the mind field? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I got scared. So he told me about a short film that was made called It's Still America that you can actually watch on Vimeo about the mind field. Other than it being on Vimeo, this thing had no online presence whatsoever. Like nobody knew about it. So I put it up on IMDb. It's on Letterboxd. It exists now. Previously, it just wasn't on the map, except for the fact that it was on Vimeo. If you Google It's Still America Vimeo, you'll be able to find the movie. But basically, it's a little, very low budget, short film, about 40 minutes long. And it was made in the late 2000s, I believe. I put the release date as 2012 because that's when they uploaded it to Vimeo. And I wasn't quite sure when this film was initially released. So I just put 2012 because that was the only concrete number I had. But I know it's probably at least 5 years older than that. It's probably around 2007. So it's like a little short, low-budget film. And mainly what it's about, it's not so much about the mind field itself as it is about the community of Brownsville and their reaction to Billy Tripp and his work. And it's a really interesting little film, even though the editing is definitely far from perfect. Some of the shots definitely could have been framed better, different technical things like that. Despite all of that, the interviews are, really interesting and really engaging. And hearing all of these people recount their experience with the mind field, what their opinion is, talking about the community's opinion overall, in that way, it's really engaging. And Billy Tripp is in it a little bit as well. but it's mainly a movie about the community. And that's the way Billy Tripp wanted it. This was actually a production that he oversaw, and he wanted it to focus on the community side of it more than on him. And so, yeah, again, if you're interested in the Minefield, it's a good little movie for what it is. You know, really low budget, made in the late 2000s. Looks like it was edited on Windows Movie Maker, but hey, they just did it. They went out there and did it, and you know, good for them. Because you know, the existence of this was part of what motivated me to make this a feature. Because I thought, if you can make a 40-minute short film just on one aspect of this story, and there's a lot more to this. You know, there's the stuff on the Wikipedia page, there's the stuff in this movie, and then there's even more in his books, and then the stuff that I'm filming now, which is not online. So I was like, yeah, this could be a feature for sure. So that's what we're aiming for. So anyways, I just want to let you guys know about that. It's on Letterboxd as well if you want to add it to your watch list. That was all the Minefield stuff that I wanted to talk about. That's pretty much all the Minefield stuff. Unless you guys had any questions or anything, I thought maybe we could quickly talk about movies that came out in 2022, since I don't really do reviews of recent movies anymore. That's not really something I'm interested in doing anymore. So if you guys wanted me to, I could talk about 2022 movies. I have that list pulled up on my Letterboxd right here. We could talk about 2022 movies. I could show you guys Billy Tripp's books. But that was pretty much all I had for this stream. So, yeah. Unless anybody has any suggestions. And I don't know how long of a delay I'm on either. I feel like I'm on a pretty big delay, but I'm not sure. Like, this is the first time, legit, the first time I've ever done this, so I'm not. How long do you think it's going to end up being? Man, I don't know. I don't know. By the time I'm done filming, I'm going to have somewhere around 200 hours of footage, at least. I told Billy, thank you, Xavier, I appreciate it. I told Billy the other day that I'm really scared I'm going to get this thing together, and it's going to be like 3 or 4 hours long, and I'm going to have to make some really difficult decisions to cut it down to a reasonable length. I want it to be somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours, but I want to do justice to the narrative I want to tell too. So we'll see what happens. I definitely don't want it to push 3 hours. I feel like if I want this to go anywhere, get into festivals or whatever, the longer it is, the more that runtime is going to, kneecap it. So I'm going to try to keep it, between 90 minutes and 2 hours, maybe a little over 2 hours if need be. But I'm going to try to keep it tight. I don't want to waste my audience's time with unnecessary extended cut. Yeah. I'll release the Snyder Cut a year after it comes out. It'll get a theatrical run, There'll be a campaign on Twitter, release the Vandal Cut. And I'll release the Vandal Cut. I'll make you pay for it twice. You'll pay for it on Blu-ray, the theatrical cut, and then you'll pay for the Vandal Cut on 4K Blu-ray. I'll make you pay for it twice, just like Zack Snyder does it. No disrespect. Zack Snyder, he did it, man. He proved us all wrong. He made a better movie. It's still not a movie that I particularly enjoy, the Snyder Cut of Justice League, but it's certainly better. So good for him. But yeah, there's going to be a lot. I have some ideas. I don't want to say too much. I've told Billy already. Well, I will tell you guys one idea, not necessarily related to the footage, which I was talking about, but I do want to make some T-shirts in promotion for the movie, and I'm hoping to do that soon. So I want to have a T-shirt Don't forget the black and white version with one extra scene. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, we got to have that black and white version for sure. But yeah, I want to make some t-shirts. I want to have a t-shirt with the logo for the movie on it. And I've talked with Billy about this. He's okay with it. I want to make some t-shirts of iconography from the Minefield. So I mentioned his truck with the Satan Saves tailgate. I want to make a t-shirt of that. So it'll say, Satan saves, be self-righteous. Because I've always thought that was super cool. I'm into horror movies and metal. And so, as a kid, there was a bunch of like hubbub and, the small town of Brownsville, like, what does that mean? Is this, who is this guy? He's, people were really on edge over it. But, now as an adult, personally, I'm like, hell yeah, metal, Slayer and all that. So I want a t-shirt that says that on it. I want to try to get the design of the front of the water tower, at least the part that says Minefield Cemetery. I want to try to get that on a shirt. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take that off of a picture or if I'm just going to have to try to recreate it myself. I don't know, but I want to try to get that. And I have a couple of other ideas of things from the Minefield that I wanted a shirt. There's a little sign at the front of the Minefield where the big like V is hanging down. It's like a heart with thorns, and in the middle it says Billy Tripp. I might try to recreate that and put it on a shirt. So different things like that. But I want there to be shirts because it really spawned from the fact that I just wanted a shirt that said Satan saves, be self-righteous on it. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to make a whole ass shirt and sell it online just so I can have one myself, I might as well make other designs too. So that's part of the plan. I'm gonna make t-shirts at some point. But yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I'm not too good at the streaming thing. I don't know what else to do unless we talk about 2022 movies. Which, by the way, this week I've been trying to catch up on movies. I tried to have this week be a little more chill, so I can just chill out a little bit. And I've been trying to catch up on movies. I watched this movie called The Outfit, and you should be able to see it on this list right here that I have, which is private because I haven't been watching a lot of 2022 movies this year. You'll rep a shirt in the North. All right, sounds good. But I haven't been watching a lot of 2022 movies this year, partly because I just don't have the time or the money to go travel to see them anymore. Like, I would love to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, but it's not playing near me, and I would have to drive a considerable amounts to go see it. And not only do I not have the time, gas is just too expensive, So I'm just going to have to wait until movies like that come out on digital. That's how I saw X, because it wasn't playing near me either. So I had to wait till that to come out on digital. So yeah. But The Outfit, the moment I saw the trailer and the poster, not the poster that's on Letterboxd, the poster that's on Letterboxd is like way too overblown and dramatic for what the movie is. But the original teaser poster, which was a lot more simple and like 60s style, it really struck me as like, oh, well, this might be really good. And I think it actually was playing near me, and I didn't see it. And I really regret that now, because The Outfit is a really good movie. First-time director, and, it's a really good movie. It starts out as sort of like this quaint drama, and it ramps up into this really tense thriller that takes place in one location. And it's really well done. It does have a few too many plot twists. It's so reliant on plot twists, in fact, that it's probably not a movie you would get a whole lot of if you watched it a second time. You wouldn't get that much more out of it if you watched it a second time. But, the first time experience is still super enjoyable. I feel like it's a smart movie. It's a tense movie. It does, it sets out on a mission and it executes it really well. Not that there aren't any bumps on the road, but for what it is, like, it's the kind of movie we don't get too often anymore, The movies that get released in theaters nowadays, tend to be, if it's not a superhero or a franchise, it's, garbage like Free Guy or Rampage or, a movie starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So seeing like a small thriller that takes place in one location that's about the mafia, you know, seeing that getting released in theaters, you know, it's refreshing. So definitely go check it out. If you get a chance, you know, check it out. It's out on digital. That's how I watched it. So yeah, just wanted to give that movie a shout out. Get me in VC and we'll talk about The Northman and Batman. How do you get people to join streams? Can we get Xavier to join this stream? I don't know how I would do that. But yeah, you get on the stream somehow and we will 100% talk about The Northman and Batman. Northman was awesome. It's my least favorite Robert Eggers movie, but that's not saying a lot considering like the bar is way up here. Like the last two movies he made were just perfect masterpieces. So I'm saying The Northman's my least favorite, but like, you know, his other movies are up here and The Northman's like down here. It's just like a smidge below. Discord. Okay. So you're saying that if we get MVC on Discord, yeah, I guess it would pick up the desktop audio, wouldn't it? Okay. All right. I see you. I'm calling you now. You better be ready. Oh, it's not making any noise.
All right, what's really bizarre is that your stream is like 30 seconds behind, so I'm gonna have like parallax. You know?
Yeah. Oh shoot, that is going to be really weird for you.
Yeah. But I can just talk to you anyway, and then the people can deal with it whichever way they feel.
Yeah.
Also, you got,
for everybody
OBS.
else, if you can't hear Xavier, let me know. I'll turn it up or whatever.
In OBS, you have to have desktop audio on.
It's on. I'm pretty sure. I can see it going on up and down when you talk.
So when I go like
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. There's
sick.
feedback. I've got it
All
on.
right. Sick. Northman, right?
Right.
Vinland Saga but live action.
What did you say?
Vinland Saga live action. Vinland Saga live action. You know, it was great.
I hate that people reduce it to that. I really do. I really do.
I mean, I've just been using it to fuck with you. It's
I know
totally
because
not.
I
It's
didn't like
absolutely
Vinland Saga, and you'll never let me live that down.
not. No, and I'm never gonna let you live down that uncorrect opinion. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
but the Northman, man, it was really good.
Heat.
I will say,
Heat, dude.
my theater experience would have been significantly better if there weren't two jackasses sitting in front of me that laughed at the most inappropriate times. God, it pissed me off so much. They would
So,
just
like-
laugh at
like,
the
I don't know,
stupid.
when
Like
Spoilers.
someone would die, like someone would get stabbed to death, and they would start laughing. It was.
Was it when mom and son died? When did they start laughing at that?
Dude, we don't want to spoil the movie. Spoilers for the
Oh.
Northman. But yes,
Spoilers
they
for the
did
Northman.
laugh during
Apologies
that
all.
scene. They did laugh during that scene.
Nice. Well, I
Uh,
didn't say which mother and son, but
Redude
if
is
you
back.
watched-
Redude, you missed everything. We did a whole
Redude.
expose. We did a whole expose on Billy Trip of the Minefield. You missed everything. Now we're talking
missed
about
it, bro.
2022 movies. Let's recap for Redude real
Yeah.
quick. All right, Redude. So I revamped Billy Tripp's entire Wikipedia article. I showed everybody else what it looked like before. It was pathetic. There was nothing on it. No citations. I'm honestly surprised that Wikipedia allowed it to even stay up. I revamped the whole thing, put a whole bunch of citations. It's now a hub of information. If you want to know about Billy Trip in the Minefield, go check it out. There's also a little short film that exists about the Minefield called It's Still America. It's out on Vimeo already, but it didn't have any other pages online, so I put it up on IMDb and Letterboxd. If you want to watch that short film, it exists. You can watch it. It's a little low-budget thing made in the late 2000s. I mentioned something about making T-shirts, and so yeah, that's that. Anyways,
so which I said.
TLDR.
the
There's a sign
Randall
about virginity.
Minefield. Yeah, basically. And the Randall minefield shirt stays on during sex. Non-negotiable. Non-negotiable.
The Steel Garden shirt stays on.
The Steel Garden shirt, yeah, the Steel Garden
The
shirt
Satan
stays on
Save
during
shirt.
sex.
You wear the Satan Save shirt exclusively
During
when you
sex.
go to an evangelical meetup. You go to your church.
Dude,
You go to a
fuck
church.
yeah.
You go to
I would
like a
absolutely
pro-life
go to church
rally.
during that.
You just go
Yeah.
Satan saves. You just walk around like, hey, what's up? What's up?
I would absolutely do that. I would
Yeah.
absolutely do that. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
As a practicing Christian, I would fucking do that. That is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but it's Northman, dude. Like that was a good fucking movie.
It was.
I went with a couple buddies of mine, and he's like an actual pagan. So he considers himself like I don't, like a follower of. I think it's like Tyr and Loki.
Wow.
No, Freya and Loki. Yeah,
Wow.
he's a follower of Freya and Loki, and he told me he also has a degree in history, and with his primary focus in Norse mythology, Steel Garden condoms win. Let's
So
go.
as a redude, you're gonna have a blast with the stuff that I'm gonna be coming out with because me and Billy, you know, we're having conversations all the time while he's working, and he has said some meme-worthy stuff. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but he's said some stuff that
This
you know,
belongs on a reaction
we're not making fun of him. I want to make that clear. It's not like, oh, haha, laugh behind his back sort of thing. Like, you know, it's just us joking and talking and stuff like that. And there's certain clips you could take out of our conversations that I plan to take out to post on Twitter and whatnot. You could run with those for sure. I would love to see a Billy Tripp meme go viral. It probably won't happen, but I would love to see it. There's one clip in particular that
be
I'm
really
thinking of
cool.
in my head, and I'm like, this has potential. This could make it. But I'll have to
This is
clip it and
This is
see.
the one.
I'll have to clip it and see what happens to it. But you got to make that
I'd-
push,
I'd
redude. You
make
got to
it
make
happen.
those gifts.
Come on, Giff.
Anyways, I didn't mean to
Redo
cut
it.
you off, Xavier. That's super.
No, it's cool. He's like a history Norse major, and he talked about how it was like the most historically accurate Norse thing he's ever seen, like down to even as specific as the details go. Like the only non-historically accurate thing that he talked about is, remember in the beginning of the movie where, like after Aemulf is like running away, he's got a red cloak on. They would not have red dye.
Interesting.
It would actually be purple because
Interesting.
red dye did not exist in that area at the time.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. You know, Robert Eggers has always been super dedicated to historical accuracy. And,
Yeah.
you know, even as someone who doesn't know anything about that stuff, I could tell it was super historically accurate when I watched it. We talked about
I
this in
watched
Discord. We talked about
Yeah.
this in Discord, but the only mention of Christianity in the film is when it's used as an insult. And, you know, he's calling
Yeah, because
people,
it's like, oh,
you know,
his
Christian
God
bastards.
Hangs on a
Yeah.
cross. His God hangs on a cross.
Yeah, they called Jesus a zombie or something like that. Like the only mention of Christianity is, you know, an insulting way, which is very historically accurate to that time. So, you know, even as
Yeah.
someone who does not know a whole lot about that culture, I could tell it was super historically accurate. Very respectful to that culture.
Yeah, he was just we went.
Well,
to,
I don't
we
know
went
if
to the
necessarily
Meat After. He was
respectful.
Just nerding out the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
necessarily respectful. I could tell that the movie was definitely a
Well-
criticism of the way Viking culture worked. But you could tell there was a reverence there to make sure that the film was accurate to the
was
way
still out
things
of
actually
respect.
happened. Yeah.
it was
Out of
it was
respect
still
for
out of
history.
respect.
Yeah. And you could tell it was historically accurate too because they were willing to depict history in such a raw way that it's almost ridiculous. Like, you
Yeah,
know, with the
which
Vikings
rapes and
acting like
pillaging did
wolves and like,
happen.
you know,
Yeah.
doing all that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
which that does happen, and
Yeah.
he's actually been like that. I've been lifting with him before, and he's done that shit, and I'm like, dude, what the hell? he's fucking done that kind
are
of
you
thing.
you talking about your friends, the guy who believes in Norse mythology or whatever?
Yeah,
Wow.
he's done that.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's it's I could tell watching the movie even though I didn't know anything about that culture. It's like this must be really accurate to history because, you know, back then they were much more in tune with nature and, you know, the way they saw the gods and higher powers were a lot more linked to the earth and animals. And
Yeah.
so if they were going to be aggressive and they had like a mission to kill, like they would channel the spirit of a wolf. So, you know, it made sense, even though it was, you know, historically accurate to the point of seeming ridiculous, you know, to a modern perspective.
Yeah, so do you know what I mean by like twin spirit, by like two spirit? Do you kind of get that?
Not at all.
So it's kind of like you have the soul of this animal within you. And so specifically the way that they see it is that the Norse gods grant them like specific animal kind of souls is the best way I can describe it. He could explain it a lot better, but it's like the Norse gods will grant you specific like animal souls. Like everyone can have, I think it was the wolf, only a select few can have a bear, even fewer can have a boar. But when I mean everyone can have a wolf, that includes women. So like everyone can have one, like just period. Yeah. Like if they train for it. I've been lifting with him before, yeah. I've been lifting him before. He's come over, we've lifted a couple of times, raw garlic, honey, let's go. But yeah, he kind of explained it that way, and what you do when they enter that trance, it's kind of taking that like that soul and literally letting it become you. So like letting it like completely engulf who you are, and kind of like an ego death scenario where you're not you anymore, but you're that wolf spirit now. And when they were doing that ritual, that's basically like them bringing their wolf spirit up. And if you catch Amath, if I remembered his what's the main guy's name? Like
I don't remember. I don't remember. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He was called Beowulf. He was called Beowulf, and that's because he has both a bear and a wolf spirit inside of him. So it's Beowulf.
Yeah.
So
no, I get what you're saying.
Where that name comes from.
I could tell, you know, just by watching the movie, that's what was going on. It sort of reminded me of The Witch in a way. It was almost like, you know, possession. But you could tell it was a more ancient, you know, non-religious in the way we would think of religious, you know, kind of possession.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what you were describing of like channeling the spirit of, you know, an animal. But yeah, great movie. I will say the one thing that really holds it back from me from being as good as his other movies is, you know, obviously he had a much bigger budget on this one, and he did some things with special effects, and some of it was a little, you know, it looked a little iffy, you know.
Yeah.
Specifically, that shot of like Ethan Hawke's chest like opening up into a void. I don't know if you remember that shot.
Yeah, no.
There was a couple shots. Yeah, there was a couple shots like that where I was like, you might have been better for, you know, to go with something more practical there.
Yeah, but I mean, doing that kind of thing practically is
difficult.
Really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
I
But I'm not saying like the actual effects practical, but you know, in his past films, he would, you know, always use editing as an effect. You know, he would edit it in a way where it was surreal, you know, and I feel like it would have been more effective if at some points he used that instead of the special effects. But hey, you know, it was not terrible. It just was not great, those parts.
Kind of just immersion breaking.
Yeah, it's a little immersion breaking. Yeah, that's how I would describe it. But yeah, other than that
did actually blow me away. The Batman. I did not think that was going to be as good as it was.
Oh, I expected it. I expected it to be great for sure.
I expected it to be like 6, 7 out of 10. What I got was like 8, 9 out of 10. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah,
this is really good.
I rewatched it like last week, and I have concluded that the movie for me would be a 9 out of 10 if it ended right after Batman sent the person up to the helicopter. If it ended after his monologue and he did that, 9 out of 10. Easy 9 out of 10. But the movie keeps going. It has that cringe like CW comic book scene with the Joker. And then it has this send off with Selena Kyle, which when I first watched the movie I didn't have an issue with, but rewatching it I was like, why is this in the movie? Like, we don't need this.
Yeah.
Like, their relationship, you know, was important to the movie, but it wasn't like so important to the movie that we needed closure, you know, about it at the end. And at the end of the day, the movie leaves it up to like, oh, you know, they might meet again. So the scene doesn't really.
next movie.
Yeah, the scene doesn't really change anything in the status quo. So
Yeah.
I don't think either of those scenes are necessary. Just cut the last 10 minutes off of the movie,
I
and
can
it would
see
be
that.
significantly better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, those two scenes didn't really add anything of value.
yeah.
but
But
it's, I mean,
other than that, it's like, as
perfect.
far as scenes
Awesome.
go, everything was awesome.
Yeah, this is easily the best live action adaptation of Batman.
As a
Without
character,
doubt.
yeah. Like, this is the
Like,
first live
terms of
action Batman
actually
movie where
being
he's
Batman.
actually a character. Because every other
Yeah,
movie,
so-
he's just kind of there.
Yeah, I mean, Christian Bale Batman wasn't bad. per
No,
se.
no. He's iconic.
He wasn't bad. Like, he was still good, but it's like, it's just not. He didn't have quite that extra edge that makes Batman Batman, which is, you know, the really like big fear, scary aspect. But it's also like that hope aspect, which the Batman actually got.
I don't know if I agree. I think he had the fear aspect. It was just executed in a different way. I think what he lacked that this Batman had was, you know, he actually had something going on personality wise and like psychology wise. The Christian Bale Batman, Michael Keaton, you know, whatever actor you want to throw out there, they weren't really a character. They were just kind of you know, a piece on the chessboard. They would
Yeah.
move around so things in the movie could happen, you know.
Yeah.
So
Now that you say it, I actually do really, really like how in the Batman, Bruce Wayne is like this fucking weirdo who like doesn't talk to anybody and is super weird to everyone around.
Robert
him, which makes a
Pattinson,
lot
best
more
live
sense.
action Batman. I
Yeah,
knew he was
easily,
going to
though.
kill it, but easily best live action Batman.
Yeah,
It's
Batman deserves his success.
yeah, going back to what you said about it surpassing your expectations. For me, it was a little weird because in a way it met my expectations, but I don't know. It was aiming for like this noir detective type story, which it did super
Yeah.
well, and I really enjoyed it. But those kinds of movies aren't really my bag. And so it's like a
Yeah,
catch-22 where like it was as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was going for like a vibe and a genre that you know wasn't really my go-to. And so I don't want to say that it equals out like they, you know, clash together and completely flattens each other out, but I think that certainly dampens my enjoyment a bit, where I certainly
Yeah.
appreciate it 100%. And I do
No,
enjoy
no.
it a lot.
Yeah.
But
Not
The-
every
the-
movie is made for everyone.
yeah,
You-
exactly.
You
That-
can't make something for everyone. It's
Right.
not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I would say I still prefer The Dark Knight because it's not as much a detective movie, it's just a crime saga, a really
Yeah.
tense crime thriller. The
As,
Batman
as,
isn't
as
a
Joker says it himself, do I look like the kind of guy with a plan?
Yeah.
He has no fucking plan.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just winging it.
yeah,
He's just-
the
whole
Batman on the
movie.
other hand isn't a crime thriller, it's a crime investigation movie. And
Yeah.
I'm not too savvy about crime investigation unless you put that shit inside of a cyberpunk setting, and then I'm there. I've got popcorn ready. I'm
it
like,
has to be specific to
what?
Cyberpunk.
What? They're doing what? They hacked into the mainframe, and they're doing what now with this?
Oh,
Okay, yeah,
Blade
yeah.
Runner.
Let's go. Let's keep going. But you said it in modern day or the past or anything, and I'm just like, all right, cool,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically,
But as soon as
Blade
it's in the
Runner.
year like 2079, I'm like, all right, let's go.
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, or I'm thinking Ghost in the Shell specifically, because a lot of Ghost in the
Oh,
Shell,
that's-
a lot of
that's-
Ghost in the Shell
that's on
is.
my list. I have not watched Ghost in the Shell.
You need to watch that, and you need to watch Standalone Complex, not the Netflix Standalone Complex, but the original 2000s series.
Read Berserk, I might.
It's long,
I'm
man.
just
That's just a long manga.
Hey, bro. Yeah, no, that's true.
Speaking of manga and anime,
true.
the Girl from the Other Side movie. That's a manga that I have followed since like
Saw.
2018.
Yeah, I saw
Great
that.
manga, great story. When I heard this movie was happening, I was so excited. And in a lot of ways, it's really good. The art style is beautiful. This is some of the most beautiful and unique
Yeah,
animation
no, it looked really fucking
that has
good.
come out of Japan in a long time. Most
Oh, yeah,
animation
totally.
that comes out of Japan now looks like it
It's
came
kinda
out
like
of
the Cal Arts effect.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I call it the Cal Arts effect, where it's just everything kind of becomes uniform. And,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of variation within that uniformity, but it's kind of it just kind of feels the same.
Yeah, everything. It looks like everything has come out of like a recycling bin. You know, it's modern anime. Like it all looks the same, with a couple of exceptions. You know, if it's at Studio Trigger or Hiroyuki Imaishi,
Then, yeah,
it's
dude, you're
it's
just-
gonna have that
like,
Studio
wild.
Trigger Hiroyuki Imaishi look. But this is the most unique looking anime to come out in a very long time. It's gorgeous. At times, it's very dreamlike. And so in that department, it excels. It's got a great score. I was iffy on the Japanese voice actor that they got as teacher at first, because I always pictured him with a more gentle voice, and they got a guy with a deeper, more fatherly voice. But he grew on me over time. The only thing I would say about the movie is that it is incredibly short. The manga has a very huge, like almost epic story, and the movie has to scale it down so it's a much like smaller scale drama, which works good for the
Yeah.
movie. But the movie's so short that I feel it doesn't even get to expand on all the elements it could expand upon within what it's trying to do. Like even with it trying to be sort of like a self-contained drama. And there's like certain points and certain visual cues that if you've read the manga, you'll be like, oh, it's like referencing this that happens in the manga. But I feel like if you haven't read the manga, you won't pick up on that. And I feel like it'll be
Yeah.
harder to follow or understand the movie
I
as a
know what that's
result.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm split
Berserk
on it
movie
because on
trilogy
the,
is the same fucking way. It's like you guys are referencing something that people aren't going to understand, but I get.
the movie trilogy.
For Berserk, they cut out a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I've always
and,
thought
and they like half reference some things, and then if you read the manga, you're like, okay, I know what that is, but you're kind of thinking, a person who doesn't know what that is going to be like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about watching that a long time, but I haven't actually bit the bullet because I'm not sure.
It's probably the easiest way to try out Berserk. It's the first two have really rocky animation. It's not bad, but it's like it's kind of like a little bit. I mean, but the English voice acting for the movie trilogy is actually really good.
Oh,
And the
that's cool.
third movie, I really like the third movie. The third movie in particular is really good. In
Yeah.
terms of like Berserk overall media, I would say it's probably the best. that
What?
I've
Even
seen, like,
above-
outside of fan stuff?
Above 97?
Above a lot of parts of 97. I think the third movie trilogy, like if you just pretend like everything before it was perfect and everything after it is going to be perfect, just that snippet, and what they got in there was the eclipse, Guts Casca, all that stuff, and the aftermath. They got those three things, and those three things they did perfectly. Like
Okay.
like those three things, flawless. As
So would you
actually-
say that
there
I
were
could
some
skip the first two
additions.
movies?
No, because you don't know what the fuck you're gonna like. What's happening?
Well, I've
So
seen the
you're gonna
97
have no
anime
clue.
though.
Well, okay. If you kind of remember some stuff, then yeah. I mean, if you remember, like, what do you remember?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
It's been like
it's
4 or 5. It's been like 4 or 5 years since I watched the 97
Yeah.
Berserk anime. It was a good show
it's
though.
Probably, yeah. Just rewatch 97 and then be like, oh yeah, I like Berserk, and then go and read it.
That's a big commitment there, sir. That is a long series. That's why I haven't read
and
it.
Ghost in the Shell is a lot too.
It's
I get,
not
like,
that much,
5
man.
hours a week to
Okay,
consume media.
Ghost in the Shell, if you're just watching the essential, not the other garbage that people don't like, just the essential stuff that everyone agrees is good. It's one movie, okay, Ghost in the Shell 1995 by Mamoru Oshii, and one TV show that if you watch both seasons is only 50 episodes long.
Yeah.
And that's it. So,
50
uh,
episodes.
yeah,
Average like 20 minutes, half an hour.
yeah. Which
Still
is...
about 25 hours.
Yeah, that's about, if you watch it nonstop, it would take you like a whole day, but it'd be worth it because it's a good show.
No, I
But
trust
all
you.
the
It's-
other
it's
Ghost in
on-
the
it's
Shell
on my
stuff,
list.
all the other Ghost in the
It's
Shell
on my
stuff,
list.
you could either, you could take it or leave it. The second Ghost in the Shell
Honestly-
movie, some people love it. It's personally not for me. Ghost in the Shell Arise is a prequel, a very not good prequel. And then there's the new Netflix Ghost in the Shell series, which is ass. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about that a little bit, but honestly, I just don't have a lot of time anymore for media.
No, I
I
understand.
just don't have a ton of time.
I understand.
Like I basically have like an hour or two to wind down a night and like a couple hours on the weekends. Well, I'm not going to have that anymore. I'm starting to work again here in a minute, and YouTube's on that YouTube grind. So I mean, pretty much if I'm going to like dedicate like an hour or two to consume some media, I'm going to read Vagabond instead, because it's like I can burn through like 20 chapters.
So what you're saying is that it would have been better if it was a Batman Beyond movie.
Actually, Batman Beyond movies, those are the way to go.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that, but I definitely want a Batman Beyond movie. That's for sure.
Well, a live action one? No, like fuck that. But the Return of the Joker movie, the Batman Beyond Return of the Joker movie, that movie slapped.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole show was awesome. I haven't watched the Return of the Joker movie in a long, long time. I don't think I rewatched that when I rewatched the show, but I did rewatch the show.
Yeah, that show is really underrated. And the whole like early 2000s, 90s JCLA, like all of that stuff is really good. Like the original Batman in the animated series, the Superman one they did. They made one in like the 40s that I saw, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I only watched like a couple.
You're talking about the superhero cartoon? I mean, the Superman cartoon in the 40s?
Yeah, and it had some, like I don't remember. There was one that had some like really pretty animation.
I've seen a couple episodes of that 40s cartoon. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just like very beautiful animation. I'm like, fuck, dude, that looks good.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
But the Batman animated, Justice League animated, those two shows are goated. In terms of like,
I got to say something about that.
adaptations.
I've stopped now because I'm trying to catch up on movies. But I've rewatched the first 2 episodes of Justice League, and I got to tell you, especially the way it looks, it's aged like milk.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed. I'm hoping that when I get to Justice League Unlimited, that's going to be better. But
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Justice League Unlimited. I did not separate the two
see,
in my head.
this is the thing. I remember Justice League Unlimited. I barely remember the original Justice League, and now that I'm rewatching Justice League,
just watch Unlimited.
I remember
cares?
now that I'm rewatching the original Justice League, I'm like, damn, no wonder I don't remember this. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't look very good. I'm not even just talking about the 3D animation they experiment with. Like, even the 2D animation is hit or miss. And the dialogue is super hokey, or can be at times. Just super, super on the nose and corny. And I was just like, I kind of remember it being better than this. But I think all of my good memories of Justice League are from Justice League Unlimited. So I don't know. I might keep going with Justice League for a little bit, but I might end up skipping ahead to Justice League Unlimited because that's what I really remember loving.
Because that's the good one. And I remember there was an arc where Superman got like sent back to the past and he didn't have any of his powers. Or, like he got sent like a different universe or something. That
With the
was
Red Sun?
Awesome. Yeah. No,
I remember that. I remember that.
That's why he didn't have his powers.
Yeah, I remember that because I remember specifically that scene of him like being on a beach and like, there's a red sun and he's just like, I can't remember exactly what happens, but he's like super frustrated. And I remember as a kid being like, oh, damn. It was like one of those oh shit moments when you're watching cartoons as a kid.
Yeah, it was like, fuck, is he gonna die? And then you realize no. He's gonna live forever. Because we have to make more properties about him.
Yeah.
Superman is eternal.
To go back to 2022 movies, did you watch the new Scream?
Nope.
No.
All
right.
Did I miss out on a lot?
No. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
I had fun with it, but I feel like the only reason I had fun with it is because I watched it with friends. And so we were able to like laugh with each other. I feel like if I watched it by myself, I would like it a lot less. Because the ending's not good for sure.
I got like an ad for a trailer came up for it, and it looked like, the Friday the 13th movie that Michael Bay directed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like to me.
It's definitely better than that. It's definitely better than that, but it's not great. It's just okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that. Girl from the Other Side
Yeah.
movie, though, I would be interested to see what someone has to say about it that hasn't read the manga, because even though I have that perspective of, oh, well, if you haven't read the manga, you're not going to understand this and this and this, I feel like it's visually it's presented in such an artistic way that someone could just like take those images and maybe interpret them in a different way. So I would be interested to see someone's opinion who hasn't read the manga. But as it stands, I would say that the movie it's made for fans of the manga, basically. It's what I would say the movie
Yeah.
is for. But if someone did watch it without having read the manga, I would be interested to see in-depth thoughts, because I don't know how somebody could come away from the movie thinking that it was like a complete story. So,
Okay. Yeah. Which is.
but again,
I'm sure
it's
fine. You got-
presented.
there are adaptations.
It's presented in a way that's artistic enough where I could see someone watching it and thinking it's a complete story by interpreting some of its references as like symbolism. So, you know, why haven't I seen Morbius yet? Because
I watched.
what?
I watched it. I watched it.
I don't know why you did that.
2 times speed because I had to know what the hype was, and I watched it because for the video that I made on it. I didn't want to talk shit on a movie that I didn't watch. So
No, that's understandable.
I didn't miss out on really anything. I could have said it was shit, and everyone would have.
Here's the thing. Here's what you should have done. Don't go see Morbius. Put Morbius in the title of the video somewhere, somehow, and just shit talk Jared Leto.
I did do that.
Aw.
I did shit talk Jared Leto.
Aw.
I did shit talk Jared Leto in the.
Dude, did you see that
which is-
video? I posted this in Discord, but did you see that video? It was pretty in depth about like the cult that he started.
Yeah, it wasn't. Philion made that. You know, he used to make fitness stuff. That's
Yeah.
why I started.
Do you know
watching
he's
it.
50 years old?
Jared Leto?
Look it up. He is 50 years old.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Bullshit.
So you have to watch this video that I posted in Discord. That's the way it
Leto.
starts. It's like, keep in mind this entire video.
He's
This man is 50 years
50.
old. Yeah, he's 50. Dude is a legit vampire. But
That's-
and then here's the thing. He started the band 30 Seconds to Mars, which I had no idea. But that's his band. And that's how he started his cult, is because it had a cult following and they were so dedicated that he like set up this event to go to an island and people bought thousands of dollars of packages. And it's like it just kind of turned
Wow.
into a cult.
nice.
Yeah. No, I would recommend that video. It's wild. But Toxic, to answer your question, why I haven't seen Morbius, really, really crazy series of events. Really crazy series of events. So I actually haven't seen Morbius because all of my disposable income has been going towards my family to see Morbius. You see, I'm sacrificing, I'm making a sacrifice so other people can experience Morbius. You understand? Because I understand that it's going to change their life. And I want that for them. I want that for my family members. So I've been, giving up all my disposable income so my family members can go see it and see it again and again and again, because, I just know it's going to be a really life-changing experience for them. And, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait until it comes out on Blu-ray and digital video, because, I'm just a loving,
Morbius
giving
is
person
love.
like that.
Morbius is life.
But my family, they're gonna have seen Morbius in the theaters 10 times. They've already contributed to its $1 trillion box office, highest grossing movie of all time. Hashtag Morbius sweep. Yeah, I might watch that movie when it comes out. In all seriousness, I might watch that movie when it comes out on digital, but I don't know if I want to waste my
Morbius?
time with it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to waste my time with it.
I watched it legally and ethically, right?
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure you did. That's the way I plan to watch it when it comes out on digital, totally legally. If I watch it, but I don't even know if it's worth the time, man. Like, I just don't know if I want to put myself through it, so I might not watch it. If I have friends that haven't seen it and they want to watch it together, then I'll watch it for sure. But on my own, I'm not sure if I'll muster the motivation to be able to do it.
No, but I'm so glad that you're such a generous soul to allow your poor and starving family to see Morbius. Get your kids a Morbius Blu-ray, right? That's just gonna be the way to go.
Yeah, yeah.
If
I'm not
we-
even gonna own Morbius on Blu-ray. I hate to tell you, Toxic. I'm gonna buy all my family members Morbius on Blu-ray. I'm gonna have to watch one of their Blu-rays. You know, it's just how it's gonna be. You know, that's just how I am. They're the ones who knew to experience Morbius. You know, I'm already a believer. They've got to be converted. They've got to be converted to the cause. Where I'm going to buy out Blu-rays, I'm just going to give them out like pamphlets. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Morbius today? Maniacal
Dude.
laughter from Xavier over here.
Yeah, I just laugh like an animal. That's all.
I don't know about an animal. Now,
Well, I laugh like the
villain
Joker.
the villain to a James Bond ripoff movie, maybe.
holy shit.
But an animal, nah. But I could totally see your laugh being like a dubbed over version of what's his name, Blofeld from
Joker.
James Bond. Yeah, no, Blofeld. You don't have a Joker
yeah.
laugh, but Blofeld from James Bond. I could totally see you being a
That's
dubbed over
such a-
Blofeld. 100%. 100%. You got that voice. You got it down.
That's my dream. Anyway, I found a video of Lau Salamanca from Better Call Saul teaching how to make a taco.
Like the actor.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Here
awesome.
you go. Here you go.
That's awesome. Would you send it to me?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
He made
Hola,
another
amigos.
video on how to make a friend.
Hold on.
And that's a guy who's read.
So today,
Oh, I don't know this
Teach you how to
guy.
make-
He must be from the actual Better Call Saul show. I've only seen like
this
3
is from Better
seasons
Call
of it,
Saul.
and then I stopped. I really need to go back and rewatch everything I've seen and then catch up. I haven't done that yet. So I'm not
Call
familiar
Saul's
with this
awesome.
guy at all. He must have come in after the 3rd season, which I think is the last
does.
season that I've seen. So
He does. And he's awesome. I love him. He's a he made another video on how to like get a friend, like the easy way to get a friend. If you go to the AMC channel, I'm sure you can find it. And as someone who's read How to Win Friends and Influence People to learn how to talk to people like a fucking orangutan, I can tell you that's how it works.
as someone who's
That's
read How to Win Friends and Influence People
by Dale Carnegie.
by
Again,
Dale
he's a-
Carnegie.
by
Hey, bro,
Dale
I've
Carnegie.
got a secret for you. I've read that book too.
Yeah, I'm doing holy shit.
I think everybody.
We're both. We're
I think
both
I
autistic
think-
chimpanzees who
Yeah,
need to learn how
I
to
think
talk
a
to
lot of people in high school read that book. A lot of
Yeah.
lonely introverted people
Which
in high
I'm
school read that
college.
book.
I'm in college, so you know it's.
Oh, you think
Close
I didn't
enough.
read it in college too? Man, I had the ebook when I was in college. We're a part of an elite group, you and I.
Yeah, the funny thing.
Only
about
a
college
handful
for
of
me is
people
that-
have this knowledge.
Yeah, is that I finally started making friends at the fucking last 2 weeks of college. I didn't talk to. There was one time, multiple.
Aren't you still
times
in college?
Well, no, I'm off for the summer. I'm back at my parents.
Oh, so you're talking about of the semester.
Yeah, so the semester, like 2 weeks, I finally made some friends.
Mm.
Which I was supposed to hang out with them and chat with this hot babe, but you know that didn't happen because whatever. And yeah, no, I finally made some friends
No, that's awesome, man.
after months of just being like a complete loner and not talking to anyone, just like kind of like not even talking to my roommates, not even talking to my dorm mates, just like hey, that's it.
Hmm.
That's
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm
90% of
glad
the
you got some
conversations.
friends. And you'll see
Yeah.
him. You'll see him next semester when you go back. So,
Hopefully,
do you have their contact information, or do you have their Discord or Snapchat or anything?
I have one of them. I have one of them, and
Yeah.
he's kind of like the social butterfly of the group, and he's the one who
Yeah.
introduced me to all of them. And
Yeah,
I met
you
him
got
through
you
work.
got to have that social butterfly friends, man.
Yeah,
Because
honestly,
they're
dude,
yeah.
I have tried to be the social butterfly. I just can't.
You
It's
can't.
Just, I just
If
cannot,
it's not who
yeah.
you are, you can't do it. The
Yeah,
best thing
I
you can
cannot bring
do,
myself to be the social
the best thing
butterfly.
you can do if you're an introvert is organize a little small event, like a little get together, and maybe a social
And just be
butterfly will
chill.
come. And if a social butterfly comes, they're gonna bring
You're good.
other people. You
You're
won't
good.
you won't have to
Yeah,
worry about
you're
that.
good.
You know, you just have to invite, you know, the 3 or 4 people you know. If one of them is a social butterfly, they're gonna bring the entourage. That
yeah.
was my
Oh, yeah,
experience
totally.
in college, is because I didn't have a whole lot of friends either. But I would organize things like, hey, you guys want to get together and get some wings, you know, Thursday night? And, you know, I would only invite 3 or 4 people, but one of those people would be a social butterfly and they'd bring like 5 other people. And so it'd be, you know, it'd be a whole party.
Let's
And
go.
so that's how you got to do it, man. Just
Yeah,
make
right.
those a couple of friends. And as long as you got those 1 or 2 social butterflies, you'll be all right.
It's just some people are born for that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like I'm a lot better at talking to people. I like to think that I have been in years. Like I was shit at it 3 years ago, but I think right now I'm pretty good at it. Like if I force myself, like I'm sure we could be cool like talking to a complete stranger. Like I don't have a problem with that. And which, you know, I have cold approach people and it's gone well. But it's like I just cannot be in that like social butterfly state. There's a step further and like I just no. Like,
I mean, I
like,
don't
it's
have a
just-
problem
it's not
talking
gonna
with
happen.
strangers.
Yeah.
But it depends on the setting. It depends on my mood, and it depends on who it is. If I walk into my gym, I don't talk to anyone. I don't even talk
Yeah.
to the receptionist at the desk. The receptionists at the desks of my gym probably hate me because I never say anything to them. They say, "Hey, how's it going?" I look at them. Sometimes I smile, and most of the time I just stare at the ground, and I like
you just look
I
at
just
them
beep,
with
and I
pure
just go
hatred,
straight. Yeah.
Pure anger.
Yeah,
pure
no, I
anger
don't.
in their
Half the
eyes.
time, I don't even look at them. As soon as they look at me, I just look at the ground. I'm just like, I don't exist. I don't exist. Don't look at me. I'm here for one thing and one thing only. I did not come here to talk to anyone. It's the
Yeah.
end of the workday. I came here to let my rage out and listen to extremely loud music.
my
And I didn't come here. I did not come here to talk to anybody. But I do every once in a while talk to people at the gym. It's just not often.
yeah.
Most of the time they start up the conversation. So that's one setting that I just don't talk to people in that setting. But
Yeah, I mean, I can.
dude, especially when I'm at a metal concert, like, you know, for example, when I would see Priest, you know, it's making friends everywhere, man. But that's easy because you're all there for one thing. You know, you got this one
yeah,
thing in common.
I
So
did
it's
not do that.
so it's really
I did not do
easy.
that when I went to a metal concert.
Why
Not do
not?
that. I don't know, dude. I was kind of just. I mean, I was kind of just like hard grind focused.
On
I mean,
what?
I was like cool to people. Like even some of the buddies that a friend of mine brought, I was like, I did not really talk to them that much. I mean, we were
Man,
cool,
you gotta
like, we
you gotta
could
loosen up
chat.
and learn how to talk to people at metal shows, man. Ask them about their band merch. Everyone at metal shows wearing band merch. All you got to do is throw
Yeah.
out a compliment, and before you know it, you're gonna be striking up a conversation. Dude,
Yeah, it's kinda how
I
it
met
works,
some people
period.
at when I saw Dying Fetus. I met some people, made some friends with them. I saw one of those guys when I went to go see Judas Priest. And I recognized him because he was wearing his Dying Fetus shirt that he got at the show. So, you know, you just got to talk to people. You know, that's the main way I end up talking to people at metal concerts is I just throw out compliments to their merch and they throw out compliments to mine. You know, I've got a jacket of patches that I wear and they'll compliment it. And, you know, before you know it, we're just, you know, talking about metal, you know, talking about different stuff. So you got to try it sometime, man.
Let's go.
Yeah. We got that Testament, Exodus, and Death Angel show, you know, that tour. Just get a ticket for that
Dude, that is
tour.
gonna be a sick. that is gonna
I
be a
got my
sick
tickets
concert.
already, man. That's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Any one of those bands could be a headliner, but all 3 of them, and at least at the show I'm going to, no seats, all open floor, standing room only. It's going to be Mad Max in there.
Yeah, standing.
It's gonna be
standing
great.
Only is standing only is the way to go for metal concerts.
Yeah.
Because
I
by
mean,
the end of it, you're all just like clinging for life, and you're all just animals by the end.
yeah. You definitely get a whole lot more energy from the crowd. And there's a lot more closeness to the band as well. So it's a much more intimate experience. Not that I mind like the stadium, like having to sit down. I don't really mind that either. I did that with Priest, Iron Maiden, Tool, Metallica, and those are
Yeah.
always good shows too. The trade off is, even though you're losing the
mosh.
closeness and the intimacy and the ability to mosh, you usually get a
can
larger
sit.
spectacle. You usually get a larger spectacle.
Yeah.
So that's the trade off. But you know, it's either
The
way,
trick
it's always
is-
good.
Yeah, the trick is to go to like smaller to medium sized concert venues, where at max you have like maximum like 300 people.
Hmm.
I did that for Gojira.
Yeah,
That was good.
I was
Because they
supposed
had
to
some
see.
seating in the back. They had some seating in the back, which also fun fact. I fished out of the trash a water bottle and I just got water from the sink.
That sounds
'Cause I
unhealthy.
didn't- Yeah, because I didn't bring a water bottle and I was fucking dying and I didn't.
Well,
wanna
they
use my hands like a
probably
dog.
they wouldn't have let you bring one in anyway. Probably.
Probably not, actually. Now that you mention it, I don't think they would have.
No.
I mean, you never know.
But
Oh, look at that! I just got spoiled from Doctor Strange.
oh shoot!
not
Don't
gonna
say
say
anything.
it,
Don't
though.
say anything. Don't say anything. I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Okay.
I would say that I'm
I
going to
mean-
stay off the internet tomorrow, but that won't be difficult because I'll be filming tomorrow, so that this won't even be an issue.
Yeah, that's just not gonna work.
Um,
I'm watching some of this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
think I need to see the movie because I'm kind of confused at some things that I'm looking at.
yeah.
I don't really care about the MCU much anymore, but if you want to see it, I won't spoil it for you.
Yeah, I want to see it. For MCU movies, I would prefer to be disappointed or surprised in person, unless it's a movie that just looks like total ass, like The Eternals. Like, when
Yeah.
I saw that was rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, like, even freaking Ant-Man and the Wasp, is fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. That is the worst MCU movie. So I thought, if Eternals is rotten, I don't think I
Yeah,
want to see this one.
It's really shitty.
Yeah,
So
I did
it's
see
kinda-
it though, and I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. It was certainly better than Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't super well executed.
Yeah, I was on an airplane flying back to Utah, and someone was watching it, so I watched like snippets of it, and then I would turn to my right, and there was a guy who fell asleep to Fox News, and I had a really fun time in my head, like pointing out all of the ways that they like misdirected your attention and manipulated you through the headlines.
Yeah, watching Fox News was probably funnier than watching
Fox
The
News.
Eternals.
You ever
The
seen,
Eternals does not get really good until like the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes is honestly really good. Everything else is
Yeah.
pretty boring though. The worst critic says Doctor
ever-
Strange 2 is just 2 hours of Sam Raimi taking a dump on a golf toilet. It was really weird. It sounds like my kind of
Wow, that
movie,
is-
man. I don't really know what you're complaining about.
That's riveting. That's riveting. I would pay very good money to see that. I'm gonna have to go.
Me
see this
too.
movie
I would
now.
I'd pay double the money. Whatever the ticket price is, I'll
Let's go.
double it. All right.
Wait,
Well,
why did they make? Okay, I can't say that. I'm watching another Doctor Strange clip. I can't say that.
don't say anything. Don't say anything. I will get off this call. I will get off this call with you if you say
no,
anything.
they just. I don't know. Okay. No. Yeah. No. I meant gold. I think Critic meant to say a gold toilet. Honestly, that sounds like a really fun movie.
On a
Just 2
golf
hours
toilet.
of watching
Dude,
shit.
the golf part made it funnier, though. Because what's a golf toilet? You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of, Xavier, you still there?
Yeah, what's up?
You just went silent. You got really quiet there.
No, it's because I'm watching another Doctor Strange.
Gotcha.
Holy
But if that
shit.
reminds me of that thing. Have you seen the commercial for that? It's like a golf club, but you can pee inside of it.
No.
Oh crap! I don't even know what it's called. I think JonTron covered it. Not that I'm trying to
Oh,
plug
yeah.
JonTron because he's kind of a piece of crap.
I'm
But
watching another. And yeah, this is a Sam Raimi movie. Holy shit.
Oh, then I meant golf. It was funnier. But yeah, what you said, Critic, reminds me of the advert for the golf clubs you can buy, where it has like a cap you can open. You can just piss inside of it.
If you spoil something, I'll stop reading Berserk. No. Okay. Never. I'd never.
And start watching Ghost in the Shell. Xavier, spoil that shit.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, please. Berserk.
Start watching Ghost in the
Berserk.
Shell. You need that iconic
I mean, to be
iconic
fair,
anime
it did take
opening.
Me like 4 months to fully read Berserk.
That
That's just
orgia.
because I'm a lazy fucker and I only read like 50 chapters a month.
50 chapters a month. That's a lot. That's more than I would probably be able to read in a month.
Well, I would read like 20, 30 chapters a day over the course of like an hour or two.
Critic,
So, like,
on
2
that
times a
note,
month.
sorry to cut you off, man. But Critic just said Doctor Strange 2 is so Sam Raimi, it's awesome. I've heard a lot of mixed things about that. I've seen some people on Letterboxd say, yes, this 110% are Sam Raimi movie. I'm so happy. And other people like, this is barely a Sam Raimi movie at all. So I'm really curious to see for myself what I think, because I'm seeing a lot of mixed reactions to it on that end. Some people think it's a really confused, muddled mess that barely has any of Sam Raimi's voice in it, and other people, Critic, think it's like 110% a Sam Raimi movie. So I'm looking forward to seeing stylistically how it plays
I
out.
just watched a clip of it that very much feels like a Sam Raimi movie.
Good.
Like
good.
it was horror. Like,
Good.
Like holy shit.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Definitely limited
I'm
in
kinda
some
confused
respects.
what, like, the plot of this movie is, like what they're going
I don't
after.
care. I mean, if the Evil Dead 2, if this was the 1980s and Evil Dead 2 was coming out, I wouldn't know what the plot of that movie is either. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I could tell you what the entire plot of Evil Dead 2 is now. And I've seen it like 5 times. And I'm not even sure if I can recount the plot of Evil Dead 2. It almost doesn't even matter in a Sam Raimi movie.
Just ask Spider-Man 3 fans.
He works really well within the limits he was given. Actually, I'm going to push back on that. I could recount most of the plot of Spider-Man 3.
I actually could too. It's just so fucking insane that you're.
It's
like,
it's so memorable. I'm glad a lot of the hate for it has died down, because even though it was a disappointment in comparison to the other two,
Was it like really bad?
have you not seen Spider-Man 3?
No. I mean, like the hate for it, like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, dude. You need I don't know how you'd be able to do this, but if you could filter like online videos and just watch stuff from like 2007, 8, 9, like even machinimas back in the day would just take random jabs at Spider-Man 3 as like being the worst movie of all time. Like people hated it. Like they acted like it was the worst thing ever. So I'm glad a lot of that has died down and a lot of people have realized, okay, it's certainly not as good as the first two, but it's not bad. You know, it's not terrible. And there's a lot of things about it that I still really like. It's a mixed bag for me. It's like a 5, 6 out of 10 at most. But I still really, I still really like it. Bruce Campbell kills demons. Why did you have to spoil that for me? Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
I would have loved to see that and like experience the surprise of that reveal in the theater. But here you are, just ruining everything. It's 9:39. I should probably end this.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah. I don't even know how people found it comparable to Batman and Robin. People have been comparing it to Batman and Robin. That's insane. Oh, that's the plot of Evil Dead 2 is Bruce Campbell kills demons.
comic book
Oh,
movie ever
okay.
made.
Sorry, man. There's a delay. Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry. There's a delay, so I thought you were talking about something else. Sorry, I take back my fuck you. How do you take back a fuck you? Do you say bless you? You say bless you?
Bless. Gosh bless. you.
Bless you. Peace be with you. You know, that's that sort of deal. But I should probably get off. It's 9:40, so I need to do some stuff, get ready for bed. Got more shooting to
Yeah,
do
I should
tomorrow.
go to bed. Yeah.
So
I
it's
love
been
you,
fun,
Randy.
guys. Xavier, I'm
I
glad.
have to edit my next Berserk video. Yay!
I'm glad you came on, Xavier, because otherwise it probably would have ended a lot earlier. Because I
Yeah.
kind of got through with my plans, and that was that. So
Don't worry, bro. I got
for
you,
everyone
homie.
else, I hope you enjoyed it. Show me your show me your genitals, and all this
Dick and
forgiven.
balls.
No,
Your
thank
dick and
you.
balls.
No, thank you.
Your cock and balls. Your massive testicles.
All right, with that, I think we're ending it. See you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for the positive